This is Kristen Heemstra, your personal college and career coach, and I want to talk about college visits. Now, you're going to see that I have pulled up something from College Express. They have a lot of good resources on there. Overall, college visit is super important for a student to get a feel for the campus. In an ideal world, the student would go on campus without the parent to walk around. Everyone can go to they'll have a session, like an information session. That's fine. You can listen to it. Here are some things I want you to listen for. There is a difference between an admitted and an enrolled student. And you'll find that on these in these big presentations, they'll use different language. What's the difference, you may wonder? So let's say that you are UNC and you are going to admit students to come to your campus. Some of the students are going to be using UNC as a safe school. Let's say their number one school is an Ivy League, or they have perfect scores and they're just slightly above UNC's profile. But UNC is going to admit them and they're going to retain that information. Then you also have enrolled students, and enrolled students are actually students who come to campus and actually attend classes and decide, yes, this is the school I want to go to. So pay attention to that language and feel free to ask them questions about, kind of what the differences are and things like that. A lot of the college visitation experience will be dependent on your tour guide, which sounds weird to say, but if you've done college tours, you know that the personality of the tour guide and how much they love the school will definitely impact the message your student walks away from the school with. So it's not always a good thing, but it is the reality of the situation. So, and a lot of times if you're visiting a popular school, you'll get cattle called, and X rows will go with one person and whatnot. But when you go, the tour guides, assuming they're halfway decent, they're going to know a lot about campus. They're going to be pretty enthusiastic, and they are going to be able to answer, for the most part, a lot of your questions. This is a basic checklist. Campus quad, does it feel welcoming? Does the campus feel welcoming? What are the dorms like? That is super important. And keep in mind that the dorm rooms, sometimes they have, like when I worked at George Mason, we had a dorm room that students could go and look at. And it was always clean. It was a regular old dorm room, but it was always clean, always looked so neat. Not necessarily real life, if you know what I'm saying. You can ask about the library. Wi-Fi can be a big deal and sometimes is a selling point for students. Do they have a student union? Are the kids going to the student union? At UNC, the student union is a huge hub of activity. You'll also see what's Greek life like. UNCW has an amazing gym, dining hall options. Some schools have one dining hall. Some have dining halls all over campus. What kind of academic support is available? That is very important. What does their career center look like? And do they have a wellness center that can be tied back to a gym? So those are just some things. The other things I would ask you to consider: what's the safety like on the school campus? I went to a small school, as I've said, in Holland, Michigan, and it was not at that time the safest of places. You should also look around and make sure that the campus can be safe. Like if you look at, for instance, University of Pennsylvania, where it's located, it's a really beautiful campus, but the surrounding area isn't necessarily that great. And sometimes that's true for a lot of college campuses. So pay attention to where things are at and how much you like it. What's the vibe of the student body? Are they nice? Like, do they look at each other? Do they kind of at least do some type of polite nod, head shake, hand wave, whatever? Or are students just focused going from one place to another, don't even notice each other? Every campus has its own personality, and your student is going to be happiest when the personality of the campus is similar to theirs. So definitely go do college campuses visits. You don't have to do them before you apply, but you definitely want to do them before you commit.